Hello everyone and welcome to iReadit, bringing you your daily dose of the internet for Thursday, July 20th, 2017. I am Michael Schwahn.
And I'm Nathan Wood.
Please remember, everyone, you can help support our show by going to patreon.com/dailyinternet. In addition, we do go live Monday through Thursday at 6 p.m. Alaska time. That is 7 p.m. on the West Coast, 10 p.m. on the East, and that is on Facebook. One additional quick reminder for everybody is that we will not have any episodes next week. I will be on vacation to Las Vegas. Normal episodes should resume on either Wednesday, August 2nd, or Thursday, August 3rd. Nathan, how are you doing today?
Again, it's just a regular day. I'm filled with mediocrity.
And melancholy?
I guess if that's normality.
For you, maybe.
I had thought about finding someone to do a tag team with something, just any kind of competitive thing, because I really wanted the tag team partners' names to be Optimisticles and Pessimisticles.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I wanted to be Pessimisticles.
I believe we discussed doing something like that before, but we didn't find an actual use for it.
Yep.
You just need to get a Pokemon tag team or something, or Tekken tag team.
It's not a thing.
I know. Shut
Pokemon
up.
tag team is not a thing.
Why not?
I don't
make it a
know.
thing then, Nathan.
I don't
Rise up.
I don't think so. No, and I really can't find my way around that.
You're just not driven enough.
Yes.
Yes.
And I really can't find my way around that.
That's fine. That's understandable. Motivation can be hard sometimes.
Motivation's hard all the time.
It's true. Other than that, though, you doing all right?
Yeah, doing fine.
Good. So, yeah. I don't know. Let's just get into the news. I don't got anything else to say. 10. The Japanese First Lady may have pretended not to speak English to avoid talking to Donald Trump.
This was submitted by my brother's keeper to Our Politics.
And it's so not so much as may have, so much as just straight up did. She was seated next to Donald Trump at one of the G20 summit dinners, in which he just elected just not to speak to him. They did have a translator on site, but even then she didn't speak to him a whole lot, and then later said there was a reveal of a conversation that took place as soon as I can find it. How did they... Oh, never mind. It was someone being a joke. But basically... She does speak English, 100%. She used to work for one of the largest ad agencies in the world, which, I mean, if you're going to advertise somewhere, taking American money is a good idea, especially because a lot of Japanese products are sold in America. And she's spoken very clear, fluent English on many other occasions, including when she came to visit the site of Pearl Harbor. She just didn't really feel like talking to the current president.
That's completely understandable.
Right? Of course, I don't feel like you should have to talk to him if you don't wanna.
And she shouldn't have to.
I could understand maybe her husband needing to have to talk to him because of, Prime Minister of Japan.
Yeah, being the Prime Minister.
But I don't feel like you should have to just because you're the First Lady to a world leader.
Yeah, I feel like if you're a guest to the president, you shouldn't have to do anything.
Including speak to them.
Yeah. You can just sit there and gape in awe.
At how ridiculous they are?
Yeah.
Yeah, all right, cool. Well, I'm glad we got that sorted out. Power to her, power to her. We're going to keep moving along. 9. Florida man shoots out tires of AT&T truck outside of his house.
This damn Florida man, I swear to God. I thought he died like 8 times.
Oh, he
This
has.
is submitted by Mike Craze to our news.
Yep, so there were some AT&T workers outside of this gentleman's house. They had 2 trucks and they were working on one of the poles. He came out of his house yelling and being angry and
You
telling
just can't call them that anymore.
What?
They're called the Polish people.
No, Nathan. They're pole workers. They were working on the pole.
Whoa!
What do you... Telephone workers? They're not
Polish labor workers.
But they're not Polish.
Can't believe God damn it, Michael.
What?
Goddamn.
Either way, he asked them to essentially get off his lawn. When they refused because they were, doing their job and had the right to be there, he went inside his house, came out with a gun, and just started shooting at their truck. Like, shot out the tires and just put several shells into the body. Total of 14 shots this guy squeezed off into their trucks.
What a fucking goddamn loon.
Yep, no one was injured, as he wasn't even relatively aiming for the actual workers themselves, just their truck.
How is this guy allowed to have a gun?
Well, he has been taken into custody and questioned as of now.
Yeah.
So, he might not be allowed to have a gun anymore.
That's fair.
But straight up is the crotchety old get off my lawn. This gentleman is 64 years old and is retired.
Yeah, no, that is totally the crotchety get off my fucking lawn, kids.
To the point that, good lord. Oh, I'm sorry. He fired 18 bullets. My number was incorrect. 18? Like, it unfortunately doesn't say what gun he was shooting or what caliber, but man, he would have had to. I don't care what gun you got. It was a pistol. He had to reload.
Maybe he's got extendo mags.
Well,
You
actually,
ever think about that?
oh, it was is it a revolver? I can't tell. This video is shit quality. And when I say, oh my god, I'm gonna put this video up on the screen. Give me just a second. When it says he was shooting at their truck, no. The dude literally walks around their truck shooting at the tires. Like, walks up to the truck, shoots one tire, walks around to the other side, shoots another tire. Should be going now. At least it should be. Damn it, that means I have to do the fucking smush the videos together. I hate doing that. It sucks ass and takes a lot of time and makes YouTube a pain. Anyway, so with that complaint out of the way, we shall continue on with the show. 8. Citing recusal, Trump says he wouldn't have hired Sessions.
This was submitted by Emily to Emily 13 to our politics.
Yep, so Trump has done several interviews in the last few days, one of which he was discussing Jeff Sessions and how he wouldn't have ever hired him if he knew that he was going to recuse himself from the Russian investigation.
So if he didn't, he wouldn't have had any problems.
Basically, because he expected Jeff Sessions to come on as the Attorney General and defend him as the president from the entire Trump investigation. But that's not actually the Attorney General's job. Like, in some ways, yes, but he is just the United States Attorney, is essentially the way to think of it. He is the Attorney General for all of the United States, not necessarily the president's personal attorney. But because he did have conflicts, he recused himself from the Russian investigation. But Trump basically said, if I would have known that, I wouldn't have hired you, bud, because you were supposed to protect me.
That's not quite his job, though.
That's not how that works, no.
Yeah, no. What a dickbag.
Like, that's not how that works at all.
God damn it.
Like, now, and obviously it probably wouldn't even be the Attorney General's job, but if, like, someone decided to sue the White House or sue the president for reasons X, Y, or Z, then he might be involved. But the thing here is that, like, that's not his job. It's not his job to, like, you are being investigated by the FBI, an independent agency, and there's not even any charges being brought forward right now. They're just investigating. Like, if it gets to a point where there might actually be a level of charges brought forward, if Sessions didn't have a conflict where he had to recuse himself from the Russian investigation, he would probably be involved with it, but he can't be.
So, wait.
What?
I'm sorry, it didn't quite connect for me.
What didn't?
What you had said.
Okay, so basically, FBI, independent agency, right?
Mm-hmm.
They are investigating Trump's connections with Russia.
Right.
Okay. No charges have been brought to Trump at this time. So
Okay.
even if he didn't have a conflict, there wouldn't be a lot of involvement that Jeff Sessions would have as the Attorney General. If some random schmuck on the street decides to sue the president, one, Jeff Sessions probably wouldn't normally be involved, but he would have the potential to be. Now, if there are charges brought to Donald Trump in regards to the Trump connections, problem is Jeff Sessions still can't be involved because he does have a conflict there.
Okay, yeah. Okay.
Make more sense?
Yep.
Okay. Either way, Trump is all upset about his choice because he thought his choice was going to be
upsetty with his spaghetti.
He thought he was going to have a Trump card in Sessions, and found out that, in fact, you're not allowed to play those. What?
That's pretty bad.
Yeah, it was.
It's a pun. 7.
Al Gore breaks with Democratic Party leadership to support a single-payer health care.
This was submitted by Spartan 2600, our Sanders for President.
Yep, so Al Gore has called for a single-payer healthcare system. He mentioned back during his presidential run during 2000 that he did not support one at that time. He kind of flipped over on that in 2002, but has since said that the private healthcare system has completely failed the U.S. population, that U.S. citizens are not properly covered and do not receive proper care under the current healthcare system, and so he believes that we just need to switch over to a single-payer healthcare so that people can get the coverage and the service they need.
But Michael, all that super expensive drugs and everything.
Go on.
If the government pays for it, then we can't fund our military.
You want to know what's even worse? Is no, Kirk. Kirk in the chat room says, did Al Gore invent single-payer healthcare? No, he did not.
He did.
No, he didn't.
Yeah, he did.
No, he didn't.
It's now confirmed.
It's now confirmed fact.
Thank you, Kirk.
So Trump, in his infinite wisdom during another interview in the last couple of days, was talking about how he does believe that everyone should have health insurance, and that it should, and that he's like, I don't understand why everyone doesn't have health insurance. It only costs like $15 a month.
What?
Yep.
No.
Oh, yeah.
That's not accurate.
No.
At $15 a month.
If it was only $15 a month, yeah, fucking everyone would have it. But it's not. No, it's normally not less than $100 a month. And that's if you're lucky.
Yeah, no, that's not okay.
No, it's not. It's stupid.
It's not. Yeah.
Real stupid. A lot of people believe that he is erroneously referencing life insurance because life insurance normally is fairly inexpensive. But that's not health insurance.
No, it's not.
So, proof that the president has no idea what he's talking about when he's talking about health insurance. Although, if we could get to a point where we do get to where it is only $15 a month, yay us, but I don't believe that'll be achieved anytime soon.
Yeah, neither do I.
So, yeah, good luck. I'm glad that Al Gore is at least speaking towards, support, but I don't feel like he's a big enough voice anymore to actually have any sway over things.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he's one of those names that you used to hear all the time, and you're like, oh, that guy's still around? Who is he? What does he do?
Al Gore.
I heard that name once.
6.
FCC now says there is no documented analysis of the cyber attack it claims crippled its website in May.
This was submitted by Shirukin to our technology.
So,
actually, I'd be really interested for Timothy to go into that can of worms.
The problem is that can of worms would be a very large can. So, I mean, if he wants to lay it out in the chat room, Tim Stein says he doesn't want to go into the can of worms that is healthcare and health insurance. You're welcome to do so, but I mean, after you have sent it all out, then I will give the chance to respond. Otherwise, we're going to keep on moving along with the show. Now, FCC says that there is no logs, no analysis of the DDoS attack, direct denial of service, that it claims hit its website in May after it opened up the availability for comments regarding net neutrality. That's entirely false. In fact, now the media has taken up on this because one particular Reddit user, MNGRRL, has compiled a large amount of evidence regarding the current situation with the FCC and net neutrality, because possibly unaware to the chairman Ajit Pai of the FCC, there are a lot of information that is already readily available to the public. First off is uptime reports. We have a public log of all times that is running at real time showing the current status of the FCC's website as well as several other government websites. That uptime report shows that there was no downtime that was ever established in May, which means, because normally DDoS attacks, they swarm a server where it is overloaded and it shuts itself down, which would mean that you would have a level of downtime in which the whole website would be taken down, not just the ability to post comments. So there is that's just blatantly false on that end. There was no actual attack that was done. They continue. Wait, please load. Thank you. They continue on to just slam evidence after evidence in terms of the way that the FCC works. So the FCC's website actually runs through what is it called? I can't find the term because there's so much text here. I'm going to keep looking. Give me just a second. I'm just going to keep talking in hopes that eventually I find it.
Eventually that you'll find it? Yeah.
Yeah, I know. If I just keep on rambling, it'll be...
You'll eventually get there. It's there.
Yeah.
It's already there.
Exactly. I just have to keep reading.
Yeah, you just have to keep going with your eyes.
Yep. What you said.
Eventually, your eyes will lay upon it like a Valkyrie descending upon to the earth.
Is it an entire ride of Valkyries?
And as soon as you see it, it'll be like, oh!
Except I'm not seeing it. It's seriously like a goddamn friggin' dissertation in regards to this.
What the fuck?
What do you mean, what the fuck? What the fuck? God damn it. Wait, where'd it go? I can't find the name of the god. Oh, Akamai. So a lot of government websites operate through a service called Akamai, AKAMAI. And the thing is that Akamai, it is a massive thing. It is one of the largest servers in the world at this point because of the way that it operates for a lot of federal websites. The problem there is that if you were to attack the FCC, you would actually be attacking Akamai, in which if the FCC website goes down, there's going to be tons and tons and tons of other government websites that go down, which means that there is no way that there could be an attack on that, because there was an attack on that several years ago. And it made international news because of how large and direct this attack had to be to actually hit Akamai effectively enough to even make it have the slightest hiccup, because it is like a level of inspiration for information technology services at this point. They have also now proven that all of the bots were ran through an API service. That API service, you would have to have a level of access to the back end of the FCC's website in order to access. All of the negative comments are also one of 5 different form letters that are very unoriginal and can be easily traced back to their originations. Basically, it just keeps going and going and going. And at this point now, Washington Post and several other news outlets have forwarded this information onto their tech branches, and hopefully we'll hear something about it officially from the news. But basically what it comes down to is that the FCC is full of shit, and everything that they've said of like, oh, we got all these negative comments, but we know they're real. No, they're fake. Oh, well, we can't track the bots. Yes, you can. It's really easy because of how they did it and through these methods. Well, there's no way to actually prove that we didn't have an attack. Yes, there is. Look at all of this stuff. And so it just, every single thing that the FCC says of why that we can't accept net neutrality the way that it is just being debunked.
Wow.
You have gotten really quiet all of a sudden.
Me?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean...
No. I don't mean quiet in terms of how much you're speaking. I mean quiet as in, like, I can barely hear you.
Oh. I mean both?
I maybe?
I don't know.
Is your microphone plugged all the way in?
Is it?
No, but I can hear you better now that you're close to it.
Huh. I didn't change anything on the back.
Check your Skype settings to see if it's set to automatically adjust my microphone and decided that you needed to be quieter for some reason.
Okay. Well, then keep talking.
Okay, I will just keep talking.
Audio setting. Nope, got it on high. On snowball.
Maybe your microphone's dying?
Maybe.
Patreon.com/dailyinternet, everybody.
That's This is the second microphone. I have another one downstairs, technically.
Yeah, I know. It'd still be better if it was better.
Well, you don't fucking say.
I do fucking say.
5,
Youth leader facing sex claims. Wait, hang on. Try that again. Youth leader facing sex charges claims teen was keen as a jelly bean.
This was submitted by RS Iron Filthy.
Yep. So this motherfucking douchebag.
The R, not the onion.
Yep. This motherfucking douchebag was a camp counselor between the ages of 17 to 19 and reportedly slept with multiple 14-year-old girls, some of which he says was consensual, some of which apparently was not by their claims. But he has admitted to a large amount of activity, including oral sex, but does not actually admit to any type of full intercourse, although the girls have said differently. He is facing 26 sexual charges assaults. Sexual assault charges. I can speak English.
What a fucking dickbag. Wow. Holy shit.
Yeah. So I hope you go to jail, sir, and for quite some time.
He's going to jail.
It may there are some situations where I'm like, that's kind of unfortunate. Like when like a 19-year-old is dating a 17-year-old and the 19-year-old gets in shitloads of trouble. Like they're damn close to the same level of age in terms of maturity and all that kind of stuff. But when they're 14 or even 15, no, you're starting to push limits there, buddy.
Yeah, you're kind of being slippery dick there.
Yeah. That was a really bad turn of phrase, sir. Like, that was really terrible. Like, I realized after you said, I'm like, that was really gross and inappropriate.
Yeah, that was. Oops.
You know what? I'm just gonna move on. I'm just gonna move on from that because I don't know what else to say besides just move right along.
4,
Germany warns its citizens against travel to Turkey.
This was submitted by Jin Lingna to Our World News.
So as Turkey continues to be the international twat that it is, Germany. Did I say Germany or Turkey?
Turkey, I think.
Okay, I hope I said Turkey. As Turkey continues to be the international twat that it is, Germany has raised its concerns over Turkey, saying that they caution, sending out a public address to caution all of their citizens from traveling to Turkey, as there are currently over 9 German citizens that have been imprisoned in Turkey on, investigative hold, I believe is what the reason that they're being, investigative custody is the reason that they're being held, under suspicion of supporting terrorism. So they are encouraging all of their people to not travel there, and anyone that is there to get the fuck out of there, and are also giving a word of caution to German companies from doing business in Turkey.
Yeah, no, that's an important thing that people should be aware of. I mean, Turkey's being kind of a butthole right now.
Turkey is still doing dozens of arrests a day over the failed coup attempt earlier this year. They have also basically condemned Germany for this call out, saying that it is unnecessary and unfair.
No. What? No. Don't be dickheads.
That's all Turkey can do right now.
Stupid.
Basically, they've come out to say that German citizens are perfectly safe here as long as they, be good.
Keep in line.
Yeah.
Fucking what balls, dude. I'll tell you what. Fucking Turkey right now is pissing off, like, the entire world.
Yep. They're good at that.
Yeah. Yeah, they are.
I'm going to address the conversation in the chat room real quick regarding healthcare. Tim and Kirk in the chat room have went back and forth a bit regarding on what should be done with healthcare. Kirk had suggested making a nonprofit. Tim is very much against that because of the way that pay works when it comes to nonprofits. I would like to point out, though, that nonprofit organizations, there are people that make a ton of money off of that because they, like, I'm the CEO of such and such, and they get paid millions because they help run a nonprofit. and that money also trickles down pretty sizably. Tim makes a point, though, of that he doesn't believe that there should be equal pay when it comes to medical care because of the difference in services. He is talking about a case where, an example, obviously, where he operates on one person and is equal to the pay of when I visit a person to refill their I don't know what that prescription is, but when they refills their something. And so he's making the comparison of, should there be the same pay for if he does an operation on somebody compared to like somebody just getting a prescription for a medication. And he then goes on to talk about, whereas if he has no control of his patient's actions, they continue to run themselves into the ground and expect 20 medications for their problems list. And then compared to a very healthy patient who requires medication for allergy rhinitis, don't know what that is. You're telling me that's because of the cap on spending on healthcare, I should choose whose medications I fill. The person that should be operated on, I have this budget and it costs money to do things, so should I prioritize my patients when my oath is to do no harm? So first off, I mean, right now, even under our current system, one thing that I would like to bring attention to is that even if you have no money, even if you have no way to ever pay for a medical bill whatsoever, if you go into a hospital and your liver is failing or you are suffering from X, Y, or Z, doctors have a code that says they will do everything they can to save your life. It's going to end up resulting in a multi-million-dollar medical bill depending on the situation. But regardless of the healthcare system in place in America, if you are in such dire need of care, doctors will not refuse you care, even if you have no money and say when you walk in the door you have no money, they will do everything they can to save your life if it is in that dire of a need. Kirk is talking about a healthcare cap where there is only so much money that can be spent on healthcare. At least that's my understanding of the situation. So, then you come to the question of how much do things actually cost versus how much things are being charged for right now. And, we've seen similar coverage for a number of people, such as in America, into other places. And it costs drastically less in other places because of inflated healthcare costs in America. So I think there's multiple things to address is how much healthcare costs in general. And we've talked about this before about how much a service costs actually compared to how much is billed.
Right.
And Tim makes a point there of saying if they go into a hospital and request care, they can't refuse care, so they'll go over their cap. And maybe that's not the right course to take, and I don't think that you can ever set a cap on healthcare necessarily, because you don't know what services will be actually needed. Kirk is saying, I suggest capping the price of goods, not the budget of institution. Well, the problem there then becomes is that different goods have significantly different costs. Because, while we like to criticize people like fucking Mylon and all of those other companies that have, increased their price of their medication by 3 or 4 digit percentages, whether it's EpiPens going up to $300 each, or just, the other care that through Martin Shkreli, there are services that are very expensive.
Right. No, that's understandable. If you do it by a flat percentage instead of a scaling percentage, you get awkward things too. Like if you do based off of 50% of how much it costs normally, then little things we'll just add like a quarter, while like surgeries will add hundreds of dollars. But at the same time, it'd still probably be cheaper than what they're paying now.
Sure. And so, there isn't an easy solution, and the biggest problem is because it's privatized right now, and private companies want a lot of money. I'm not saying it should go nonprofit. I'm just saying that we need to address that as a problem. It's something we've talked about in the past, like when we are looking at like prison systems. I was
going to say, do you know what needs to go nonprofit?
Prisons?
Prison systems.
These private prisons want prisoners because that gets them more money. So they are encouraging people to go to jail and instituting things that, what is it called when criminals reoffend? There's an actual term for it, but they
a lifer?
No, well, yeah, but they don't institute things to keep people out of prison, and that's why a lot of people that get out of American prison immediately go back in because they don't have the incentive systems to prevent that.
I think you're thinking previous offender.
Hang on, I'm getting a shout out from the side. What? Recidivism, that's what it's called.
Recidivism.
And so when you have
That's a fancy word.
private organizations...
Man, I'm glad Jennifer's there.
Yeah, right. Well, she's studying criminal justice right now, so that definitely helps too. But when you have private corporations that truly, like, really just care about money and see money coming from things like
Millions of dollars.
medical care and prison systems, like, yeah, they're going to do anything they can. Tim makes a good comparison in the chat room about sodium bicarbonate, which is real basic stuff that they lowered production to make an artificial shortage so that demand would be higher so that they could charge more money for it.
That's fucked up.
But I mean, I don't know what the answer is. And like Kirk is talking about for nonprofits, but I don't know if that's how the single payer systems in other countries work. But if it's always based around the idea of someone can make money off of it, then you're gonna have problems.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, no, definitely.
Yeah. That was a long-winded...
Even nonprofits have problems with fraud.
Oh yeah, and nonprofits also have a problem with, like, the company might not necessarily profit, but the people that work for it do. Like a CEO of some nonprofits make millions.
Mm-hmm. No, definitely.
Like, I'm curious, salary of Red Cross CEO, and obviously, I mean, it's probably the biggest. It's one of the biggest nonprofits in the world. But this shouldn't have been this hard of a thing to look up. Here's one for UNICEF, in which the CEO was paid nearly $500,000 in yearly compensation. I can't. Okay, here we go. American Red Cross CEO in 2010 was paid $1 million. That's a fucking lot.
Not bad.
Yeah. Tim then goes on into the chat room and say, I don't think healthcare is a right. I'm sorry, that makes me sound bad. Cars are not a right. A house is not a right. Food is not a right. Actually, I think it is. I'm pretty sure that shelter and food are considered like rights.
Right.
Like I mean,
like car, fuck.
Car,
whatever.
no, but I'm pretty
Fuck
sure
cars.
shelter and food are considered basic human rights. And I'm pretty sure things like electricity and running water now in America are considered basic human rights. So
That's why you can go to places that have it subsidized.
I mean, that's why they have plans for people that can't easily get it. And I could be wrong on that. I feel like there's something that my brain just isn't thinking about right off the bat that I'm trying to remember that I'm just not able to remember.
I get that a lot.
Like there's something just barely on the edge of my brain that I just can't pull it out. But oh well.
The thing on the edge of my brain is my skull.
And like I mean, it comes down to a question then when it comes to healthcare of whether healthcare is a right or not is not necessarily the question. I mean, because of the I know it has a name. But for the oath that doctors take of we will help save this person's life.
The Hippocratic Oath?
Is that what it's called? I don't think that's what it's called.
I think that's what it's called. Something like that.
Doctor's oath. I mean...
But the Hippocratic?
Hippocratic. You were right. Good job, sir.
Bam.
So, I mean, no matter what, if you need help, you can go in and get help. But I don't feel like you should be financially burdened for the rest of your life because you needed medical help.
It's fair.
Like, that's just
I feel the institution of medicine laughs in the face of God.
That's a bit...
My children shall not be vaccinated. My children shall be as far away from the medical fields as possible. If they are to die, it is their time.
Trying to find... This is not the right time to do this. I'm trying to do research right now.
God, you're so bad.
I know. I'm the fucking worst, right?
Just continue.
Just the absolute worst. Yeah, shall we continue? Now that we've harped on this for a while? All right, cool.
Going.
The fucking title ticker has been so wrong for a while.
3,
Jared Kushner, Donald Trump Jr., and Paul Manafort are to testify before the U.S. Senate next week.
This was submitted by Saucy Tryhard to Our World News.
Yeah, so I mean, in regards to this is primarily going to be focused on that meeting that occurred at the Trump Tower with those 8 people. And also the Russian lawyer who was there at that meeting has also said she'd be happy to testify before the U.S. Senate, which is a cute little notion, and I'm sure she will probably be so if they feel the need to do so. But the investigation doesn't necessarily need to be involved with that Russian lawyer. It's more about the people on our side and who they were involved with. In which case, Donald Trump's son-in-law, Donald Trump's son, and Donald Trump's former campaign manager, Paul Manafort, are going to be testifying before the United States Senate in regards to that meeting with Russian, I don't know what to call them, because like the lawyer wasn't associated with the government, and there was like that real estate agent there, so.
I don't know. I don't know what to call that.
I don't know, but either way,
an intermediary.
Sure, that's a good word for it. I mean, because they were lured there on the pretense of them having damning information on Hillary Clinton.
So they were catfished.
Yeah, kind of. With
they were honey dicked.
Is that a thing?
Honey potted. I forget which term it is. I think it's honey dicked.
Kirk wants to know if we can do a whole episode on entitlements. Yeah, sure. We'd love to do extra episodes and stuff, but patreon.com/dailyinternet. We would love to do more episodes a week and do bonus episodes and things along those lines, but that takes money because every single episode does have a cost associated with it, as well as our personal time. So patreon.com/dailyinternet if you are interested in finding and having bonus episodes or extra episodes per week. So, but yeah, regardless, the matter is that we'll go with catfished in this case. They were catfished with the promise of information on Hillary Clinton. It then just went towards Russian adoption. But the fact that they went in the first place, that they went with the intention to collude and get information from a foreign source regarding their opponent, puts them in a lot of bad spots in terms of violations.
Yeah, that's intent right there.
Yep.
It's definitely intent. And if I know anything about intent, you don't want to be caught for intent.
Well, and the problem is that with, like, Jared Kushner is currently an advisor to the White House. Donald Trump Jr., same thing. Like, these are people that are in very powerful positions.
Paul Manafort is untapped.
That's terrible, dude. It's terrible.
Yeah.
But, I mean, there's a lot of people that, like, they have access to things that if they are compromised, you don't want them to have access to.
Right. Definitely.
Kirk says it is
for
more...
one... I was going to say, for one, nuclear codes, but...
Kirk says it is morally repugnant, but not illegal to my understanding so far. Andrew also says it's not illegal, just possibly immoral. Well, I mean, the problem is depending on what actually took place at that meeting. Also, I mean, these people have signed ethics disclosures about who they have and have not talked to. And that allows them to get the security clearances that they have. And from what has been said so far, none of them said anything about this meeting.
Oh my goodness, I didn't realize there were so many comments. The thing was...
Not loading?
Yep.
Yeah, it does that sometimes. It's real rude.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of that, by the way, I want to talk to you something post-show.
Okay.
Anyway, we'll worry about it post-show. So
I'll put you in the post-show.
Thanks, buddy. I think. I don't actually know. Anywho.
2.
Mueller expands probe to Trump business transactions.
Mueller. This was submitted by JLou24 Asu to Our Politics.
Yep. So the Trump-Russia investigation currently being conducted by Special Counsel Robert Mueller through the FBI has expanded to Trump's personal business transactions, and the reason being is that he technically has full ability to do that. Where's the actual verbiage in here? I'll just control F it because I can.
Just control F it.
The order from the Justice Department on May 17th instructs Mueller to investigate, quote, any links and or coordination between the Russian government and individuals associated with the campaign, as well as any matters that arose or may arise directly from the investigation. So Mueller's like, all right, well, we're going to just take this as far as we can. He's going to be looking into things like the 2013 Miss Universe was held in Moscow, and they want to know how much Trump benefited and profited from that. The Soho development in New York that was done so alongside Russian associates. Trump recently had a large sale of a Florida mansion to a Russian oligarch in 2008. So they're looking at everything. Anything that has Trump's name on it and anything that is involved with Russia, they're going to look through all of it.
Or anyone with a remotely Russian name.
Sure, maybe. I don't know. I mean, from what it looks like, if this does ever find anything, it's going to take months because of how much stuff they're collecting and having to go through.
Didn't it take months for Nixon?
I don't know. I've not looked into the Nixon scandal nearly enough to know much about it.
I listened to a podcast on Nixon once. That was kind of cool.
So, I mean, yeah. Although Trump is very upset about this, he believes that Mueller is crossing a red line, as he calls it, and he believes he is stepping over his bounds by investigating his personal business transactions. Although, you kind of gave up that protection when you became president. Like, as a public official, even on lower levels, like state members of local school boards have their personal finances released to the public because we need to know if you're friggin' corrupt or not, even though we know you're all corrupt. It's just how corrupt are you?
Right, exactly.
The even funnier thing, though, is Trump has his favorite banks, right? He has banks that he likes a lot. One of which is literally called the Deutsche Bank. It's fucking the Dutch bank, right? And
you don't say.
And they have already started preparing and collecting their records on all of Trump's activity through their bank. Not because they were asked, but because they believe they're gonna be. And they released a statement on like, yeah, we're getting all of our records, all of our everything together because, well, we believe that we are going to be subpoenaed for this information very soon. So the sooner we can start getting it together, the sooner we can be done with it.
It's the German bank, Michael.
Andrew makes a statement of the transactions took place when he was a private citizen. That doesn't matter. Like, I'll tell you, like, for the state of Alaska, if you get elected in 2017, you have to tell us everything you did in your private financial life and your private financial connections in 2016. And president probably goes back even farther. So, I mean, it doesn't matter if they happen when you were a private citizen. I mean, if that was the case, then, I mean, friggin' someone could buy you off and then be like, I'm going to give you all this money now, run for election, get elected, and then do this for me when you do. Like, just because you're a private citizen doesn't make it matter whatsoever.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So, either way, we'll keep up on that. Now it's time for some sad things. Maybe. There we go.
I mean, hasn't it all been sad?
Yeah.
1.
You're not wrong. Chester Bennington of Linkin Park commits suicide.
This was submitted by Another Chance to our news.
Chester Bennington, also known as the frontman, the singer for Linkin Park, was found dead this morning in a private residence. The coroner pronounced him dead from hanging. This also comes as the 53rd birthday of a very close friend of Chester Bennington, the lead singer of Soundgarden, who committed suicide earlier this year in May.
Chris Cornell.
Yeah. So Chris Bennington's dead at the age of 41, took his own life.
It was a week before they were set to kick off tour in Boston.
They actually released a new music video this morning for a song called "Talking to Myself," and I checked it out earlier because I was like, man, this is very interestingly timed. And the video actually says, in the description, please check out Linkin Park going on tour in late 2017. I'm like, I don't think they're gonna be now.
Definitely not.
Yeah. So. But there's not a lot to say about that. I mean, we know a few things that, I mean, he didn't have the best life in terms of how it was conducted. We know that he suffered from sexual abuse from an older male when he was a child. I mean, just people oftentimes channel a lot of who they are through music, and I'm not going to pretend like Linkin Park is a bunch of happy shit. Like, a lot of it is very troubled music that speaks to people on a lot of levels, but not much of it is, super upbeat, happy stuff. Like, it's talking about a lot of internal struggle, and sometimes you just lose that struggle. And also, we've also seen a pattern of that suicide kind of causes a domino effect in people that are also struggling. Like if you are close to
especially if you're close.
Yeah, close connections. If you have one person commit suicide, there's a very high chance that someone that was very close to that person will follow suit rather shortly.
I think it's patterns of 3 is what suicide follows in.
I'm not certain. When I think of the patterns of 3, I just think of the patterns of 3 as survival. 3 hours without shelter, 3 days without water, 3 weeks without food.
See, I think of the pattern of 3 celebrity deaths at a time.
Sure.
Which means we're due for one.
No.
I think.
I'll pass.
Or did he complete the cycle? I'm not sure.
How do you know when one cycle ends and another begins?
Wah, wah, wah.
We will be closing out today's show with a song of Linkin Park's. I don't care if we get friggin' flagged for copyright, not my problem. Because all they can do is turn off my monetization of money I don't make on this video. So I don't give a shit, and it's an important thing to do, I feel like. So just take a moment to realize, one, that this is more than just there not being any more Linkin Park, that a 41-year-old man that left behind a wife and 6 children has taken his own life because of mental struggles. So with that, let's move on to the post-show, shall we?
I'm Mr. Meeseeks! Look at me!
Nathan, what'd you care about in the last 24 hours?
Well, I finished that season of Archer all in a night because I found out that I was actually a season behind. I thought I was caught up, but I was not. And I'm going to have to say that was probably one of my favorite seasons of Archer. Really, really good. I think Archer has easily become one of my favorite cartoons. Like there's 3 adult cartoons that I think are the by far the best.
Yeah.
It goes in order. It goes Rick and Morty, Archer, and then South Park.
I've never watched any of Archer. What is it?
It's fucking hilarious. It's about a James Bond-esque spy, but he's too cocky for his own good.
Okay.
It's got the voice of the guy who did Bob in Bob's Burgers, which Bob's Burgers is number 4.
I've never watched Bob's Burgers either.
He was also in Home Movies. Home Movies is like 5.
Don't know what that is either.
I'm pretty sure. I don't know. I'll have to figure out some way you'll know his voice, but he's a dominant voice actor. But yeah, Archer's fucking hilarious. Actually, I think you would enjoy Archer immensely.
It makes me think of a show that I really miss a lot. And when I mean I miss, I mean it never actually got off the ground. They had a pilot for it, and that was it. There was this really, really awesome show, and I thought the pilot was amazing. It was the name of the show was called Underfunded. And it was about the Canadian Secret Service and how they didn't get enough money all the time. And it was about an agent, and it was just going to be about the stuff that he had to deal with as a member of the Canadian Secret Service. And it was really good. If you want to make yourself somewhat sad, I would advise going and watching that pilot and seeing the treasure that it is, and then being sad that there isn't actually going to be any more of it. Really good show, though. Strongly recommend it. Go check out the pilot for Underfunded. I mean, even though there's no more after that, it's still a very enjoyable 2-hour pilot. So, otherwise,
What?
the only thing that I want to talk about for my little section here is just an additional reminder here at the end of the show that we will not have any episodes next week. I will be on vacation in Las Vegas.
My little section, my little section.
We will, our show will return on either Wednesday, August 2nd or Thursday, August 3rd. Just a note there. Otherwise, though, we're already past 50 minutes. You ready to get out of here, Nathan?
Yeah, sure.
Cool. All right, everybody. If you want to catch this show live, we do go live currently on Facebook Monday through Thursday at 6 p.m. Alaska time. We would ask that you support the show, whether by sharing us on any form of social media or going to our Patreon, which is patreon.com/dailyinternet to help support us financially. $1 a month, $5 a month, whatever you can spare. If you can spare it and send it our way, we would be immensely appreciative. Otherwise, follow us on social media, Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. All of those, the show is at iReaditCast. You can follow myself at Schwahn, Michael, and Nathan at Bimmenstein. If you would like to send in a story for us to talk about, or if you just got something to say, send us an email to our inbox, which is feedback.ireadit@gmail.com, or call and leave us a voicemail at 508-738-2278. That is it, everybody. That is your 326th dose of the internet. I am Michael Schwahn.
And I'm Nathan Wood.
And we are going to close out today's show with Linkin Park's "Somewhere I Belong," because that's just appropriate. Yeah. So have a good day, everybody. I'm okay. Rest easy, Chester. We'll miss you. Everyone, see you next time.
Bye.